children of the sun, Ayar, the descendants of gods, a journey of legend, the dawning of an empire. Vrochia, the creator, brought forth into the sun god, and Mama Aquila, the moon god. From their union sprang 4 sons and 4 first clans, and teaching them the skills to start a civilization. One by one, they met their fates, until only 2 of them remained to be found. Towatsinu, the Inca Empire, take control of one of the first clans and improve your abilities at farming, pottery, weaving, and reed bundling. Ensure the survival of those AR who will reward you. Must develop skills, balance long-term strategy with the game, whichever one favors. You will at least determine your final score. The future of your clan and the Inca civilization is in your hands.
Today on the board, boys.
Ayar, children of the sun.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 17, Episode 11. Tonight on the docket, Ayar, Children of the Sun, from Osprey Games, and Fabio, Lopiano. This is your board boy. It's got to be the Corn Rob.
This is your boy, Weave, Tim TK.
This is your board boy, Moonshine Jeremy. Moonshine. See?
Love it.
Oh, we got it.
Oh yeah, and I'm here too. Board boy Beau.
That is true. Board Boy Beau did not play the game tonight, but he is here
My own segment.
for a little segment here at the beginning, which, do you just want to jump into it right away?
Yeah! Okay. So, we just got this new Unmatched. If you remember the Unmatched Adventures, Tales to Amaze, this is one of those sets, the Unmatched Adventures. But in this one, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We literally pretty much got the full decked out set. And it was really awesome because there was an extra thing that let you play as the bad guys that you would normally play against. So this is a cooperative mode if you don't know. Just like the Tales to Amaze box. And basically, if you're a fan of Unmatched and you know a ton of the characters from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's a lot of them that I didn't know, to be honest, but it's got a lot of characters.
Like who?
Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello.
What were the ones you don't know? Do you remember?
Ratmaster,
Okay.
Metalhead.
Yep, Metalhead's a big part.
I believe.
He's a metal turtle.
Leatherhead.
Yep. He's an
Yeah, so
alligator.
some of the bad guys, we didn't know some of the bad guys.
Ratmaster.
Have you guys played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, either Shredder's Revenge, the side-scroller one? I think is that
Like the arcade game?
Yeah, there's a side-scroll. Well,
Oh yes, I've played both of them.
Yeah,
I
it's on
played
Switch,
them all.
and then there's a what's it called?
Well, I
A
only played.
roguelite.
I don't think so.
I
They're
played
really
both
fun.
of them, but only the arcade versions of them, like in the arcade.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're both on Switch. They're super fun.
Okay. Yeah, so the side-scrolling ones are pretty cool. You ever played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nintendo?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Where you go down in the sewers and
Mhm.
stuff?
Yes.
And then you drive around in the van?
Yes.
I recall that game being very difficult.
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
But each of the characters' sidekicks are pretty cool. And we got the extra toppings box, which gives you the miniatures set for them. So April O'Neil is April O'Neil is Leonardo's partner, I
Mhm.
think. And then the Krangs we got,
yeah. So
the
there's-
little brain actually can come out of the case.
Oh, wild.
technically there's 2 of them, and the brain can come out of both of them. One is the actual boss figure when you're playing, and one is the figure you play as. And he's super random. His character is absolutely super random.
Yeah, they got Bebop and Rocksteady, obviously. They've got, here we go, Baxter Stockman.
He's a fly.
Yeah, and he's got the little mecha chomper dudes.
Okay.
There's Bebop and Rocksteady. There's Donatello and Metalhead. There's Krang. There's Leatherhead. Leonardo, Leonardo is with Splinter. Michelangelo is with April O'Neil. Raphael is with Casey Jones.
I don't know who that is.
Oh.
Casey's the guy that wears the hockey mask.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's the Rat
Oh.
King.
Yeah.
Shredder. Slash.
What's Slash?
He's like a turtle of some kind.
Yeah, he's an oozed out turtle.
Yeah, he's like the mutated turtle guy.
And then Wingnut.
Wingnut is he a bat?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's all of them. But if you played Unmatched, we've talked about that a bunch, so I'm not going to go into Unmatched. But Unmatched Adventures is the co-op.
Yeah.
And you can fight against Shredder or Krang. And there's a side for each of the boards, and each of the maps has a different thing. And basically, in the co-op version, everyone gets like an initiative card in the deck, and you flip it over, and when it says player one goes, player 2, 3, 4, because it goes up to 4 players. That's when the players go. And then the characters, like we played against Krang, and Krang had like
dice that randomizes everything.
Well, yeah, he had a turn where he would go, and the big bad guy usually just moves if they can reach someone and attacks. But then he also had a card that was like a traps card or something, and then we flipped over one of those every round, and that would happen.
Something that I thought was cool. So Bebop and Rocksteady are the same character. They're on the same platform. They're the same character. I thought they'd be 2 separate characters, but playing as the same deck, like Velociraptors and stuff. But no, they're on the same thing, so.
Yeah, and they want to be close to whoever the boss is, and they like buff them up. But Krang comes from like Dimension X, right? And so on his map, the left of the board starts in Dimension X, and every time his marker reaches the other side, one more part of the map becomes Dimension X. And when it's all Dimension X, you lose.
Yeah.
And then you always play one. They have like sidekick minions. You always play one of them per player. So like we played against Bebop and Rocksteady and Leatherhead. We're on Krang's team. And they had their own initiative card too.
I played Donatello and he played Michelangelo.
Yep. And Michelangelo was weird. Like he only could have a 3-card hand at all times, but every action he did let him draw a card. Where normally just maneuvering draws cards.
Donatello had these cards where if he played them, they went under his main card and they had little long-term abilities. Yeah,
like it would make you permanently stronger.
Gadgets.
Yeah, like the gadgets. Those were cool. Like they permanently modified your character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was cool. I still don't know how much I like cooperative Unmatched, but it's cool that we have all these new characters that we can mix and match. I think I liked this cooperative Unmatched better than the original one.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you can play all these guys in regular Unmatched?
Yeah, and there's a bonus pack that came in the Kickstarter, and I think it's going to be in retail too, that gives you a deck for Shredder and Krang, so you can actually play as Shredder and Krang. Like, that's the first thing we did when we opened the box. We played Shredder versus Krang.
Yeah, that was
Krang as a character
stream.
Is hilarious, because he just has like a random die that does stuff the whole game.
On his cards, most of his cards have like all of the numbers on most of his cards have a question mark and a box around them, which means you got to roll the dice.
The only other thing is, after all of those cards come out, you've kind of made a row of the initiative cards. Mm-hmm. After all the whole deck's out, then you run through and you go through every card left to right, and you do the end of round step on all the cards. So then like a bunch of bad stuff happens after they've got to take a turn.
Yep, basically.
So, but when you actually kill one of like the minion dudes, then that card goes out and like you have less to deal with.
Tell them about.
But you're also rushing against the clock to not lose the game too.
Tell them about your mini minions and the bad guy's mini minions. The optional mini minion.
Oh, and then you can play. We threw in there was like an allies and I forget the other term. It was
goons.
Yeah, allies and goons or something, and it basically made the game harder.
Pizza aliens.
Yeah, you in the deck we had 2 bad cards basically that came up when they came up. Bad stuff happened. Those were the goons.
I ended the game at 4 HP because the pizza aliens kept beating on me.
Yeah, and then the allies. There's always a face-up ally, and if you end in the space that's numbered for that ally, you gain them.
AKA the starting spaces age.
Yeah. And if you don't, you have to add another goon in the deck. So it just makes it harder to be like, you specifically need to be standing on a spot to make sure something good goes in the deck instead of something bad. And then if ever in that row, the ally and the goon are next to each other, they remove each other. So they take care of each other. Yeah, and Shredder was cool. His character deck got to put all these Foot Clan soldiers on the board, and he could literally attack from any of them. But you could remove them by walking through them and boosting your movement through them, and you could take them
Did
off.
Shredder have a minion? I don't remember.
No, it was just Shredder, I think.
Yeah, I don't think either of them had minions.
The other one, like, we backed this a while ago and it just came out, but Unmatched Lee versus Ollie we saw in the store.
It's so awesome.
It is. I would say if you want to play two super fun characters against each other and you want to start off playing Unmatched, like simple and like low cost, just go get Lee versus Ollie. Both of these characters are super fun to play.
And they just run around the board at like max speed. And let's talk about our own characters that we played as. You do Lee first.
Yeah, so it's Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee is actually a reprint of
an old character.
Yeah, that they finally got the rights to do Bruce Lee again.
I believe it's the same cards, though, just different art of the character.
Probably. And then Muhammad Ali is new. And Bruce Lee, basically, he just is very mobile. And he has a lot of cards that like will combo based on if he had already moved in the turn. I don't know. Both characters are super mobile. Why don't you talk about Muhammad?
So, Muhammad, he's really, really, really faster on the board. He has this thing where if he wins, so he starts the game in butterfly position, which means he can attack from 2 spaces away. And sometimes if you're in butterfly position, it affects on some cards, it shows the butterfly position symbol. And if you're in butterfly position, you get to do that extra thing on the card. Also, so it's float like a butterfly. Then every time you win a combat, only if you're attacking, you go into sting like a bee, which makes you do 1 extra damage on your attack cards. But you don't get to do any of that special stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was a really cool 2-character set.
One of my favorite things to do is I would just shove him away, far away, where he couldn't touch me, but I could hit him because I was in float like a butterfly position. So I could just be like beating on him because I shoved him away, then I attacked him.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds cool.
I do want to talk about another one that Beau has played. I'm curious to see what he says about it. I want to talk about R Echo Plus. Which we talked about before. It's about the Japanese recycling. I know you don't like... Yeah, I see that face. Anyway, and we've talked about it before, but I want to talk about the other game in this because it was just as fun, if not more fun than the other one. So the other game in the R Echo Plus box, we finally played it, and basically it's the reverse of the original game. There is hidden cards on one side and cards face up on the other side.
I haven't played that version.
You haven't played that one. You always have to play... You either can play one card face up on one of the top parts, or you can play multiple cards face down, but it has to be one more than the number on the top. And those are all face down. After everyone gets so many cards in their hand and then in a deck, as soon as you've run out of cards, the round ends, and you flip them all up. It's kind of like Soda Jerk, is that the name of the game? The Christie game? Soda.
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called, but
yeah,
that was fun too.
It's kind of like that too, because basically each of them is going to score. If you put the right color in there, it's +1, and all the wrong colors are +2 or -2. And then basically, if that had a positive value, you got to score the point card. And if it didn't, you took the card and you had to flip it to the negative side. And it was whoever played there last, because every time you would play face down there, you took that company's... It's funny, the tokens were like
manager of that company?
Yeah, and the tokens were like little name tags. And if you ever put a card face up, you took like the general one, and basically if more of them were positive than negative, you'd get like the round bonus.
Can I?
For that. Yeah, go ahead.
Personally, I did not enjoy this game that much. But I'm not playing the version he's talking about. I played the other version, which I didn't enjoy that much.
That's not your kind of game, for sure.
This is Board Boy. This is Board Boy B-Man signing off.
See ya, Beau. Yeah, what was interesting on that version was you don't know if people are torpedoing a color or if they're boosting it up. And there were times where I was hoping people were thinking I was torpedoing it, and I'd try to snipe it at the end and grab it, but then somebody else would snipe it back from me so I couldn't hold on to it. So the timing aspect was interesting of, are you going to be able to keep control of that color that you're trying to go for?
Yeah, there wasn't enough Tim in that game, because there have been way more things screwed up, I think, if Tim was playing.
Yeah, we were pretty good boys. Putting
I mean,
things
like,
in the
I
right
was messing some
spots.
stuff up too, but like, I think everyone else is playing fairly straight.
Yeah.
I was pretty much playing straight.
Yeah.
You
can't mix you got to put the stuff in the right bin.
No, you don't.
Exactly.
Which one do you like better?
I don't know. There's such different games. I think it's awesome that there's 2 games in that box.
They play with the same cards, though.
Same
Yes.
cards.
Yeah.
The other game has a couple more components and it takes a little more setup because you don't play with any of the double symbols on the cards. You only play with like 16 of each of the suits, basically, because it has to be even. Well, but you also start with 1 card seated face down on all of the things, so you don't really know what's started good or bad. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah, they're both fun games. Have you played either of them?
No.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll dig it.
I did like, whatever. Soda. I think it's Soda Jerk.
Soda Jerk.
Yeah. I think I like this better than that.
Okay.
By a lot.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
What else you been playing, Rob?
I mean, Jeremy and I are probably going to talk about Clank Legacy 2 Acquisitions Incorporated Darkest Magic.
Yeah.
We finished the campaign finally.
How long did it take us?
I don't know.
So it's got to be faster than my Clank 1 that took me like 2 years.
I'm starting to rethink what we're going to have to do for Queen's Dilemma and trying to get a group of people together to play that, because that is going to finally roll out soon, and I don't want that to take 2 years.
It didn't take us 2 years, though. I don't think it took us a year, did it?
No, but Queen's Dilemma is up to 6 players, and if we did 6 players, that just compounds the toughness of actually, finishing it. Although, if it's like King's Dilemma,
You play 2 or 3 games in a night.
yeah, games are like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you could just knock some
Did
out.
I was in the finish of your King's Dilemma game, I believe.
You weren't in the beginning, you
No.
were in the finish?
Yeah.
So you were one of the finishers.
I think I came in and helped push it over the line.
Do you want in the Queen's Dilemma game?
Sure. If you want to play with 6. You already have 4, right? So
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we have me and Jared and Joe.
There you go.
I think those are the people that I know really want to play.
I liked King's Dilemma.
Yeah, it's a very Joe game.
I played King's Dilemma on TTS and somehow I got it super screwed up.
Oh, right.
Like I couldn't figure out how to move forward.
Well, speaking of super screwed up, our Clank Legacy 2 game, we forgot to put a sticker on the board for part of one of the maps. We went back and we're on game 10 and we're like, how is this not on the thing yet? And we realized we missed it in game 4. So we're going to hit some spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about Clank Legacy 2, fast forward a couple minutes. There's timestamps in the podcast. But basically, Clank Legacy 2 kind of picks up where Clank Legacy 1 finished. You don't have to have played 1 to play 2. That doesn't really matter. It's its own story, but it is a double-sided board. Was Clank 1 double-sided as well?
It was double-sided.
And you go back and forth. Like, you're going to see it immediately when you get the sheet that tells you what game you're going to play on what map. You're going to jump back and forth. So ultimately, we only played like 2 or 3 games on the side of the map that was screwed up, even though it was from game 4, because you flip over to the backside and do stuff there. I can't remember Legacy 1 enough. I feel like this one did just as many neat things.
I felt like maybe there was more going on, more stickers, more things to change than Legacy 1.
Yeah, definitely if you're playing this, you need to have a group and designate someone as like the card person and the sticker person and the rulebook person and the...
What about the sticker putter on person? Do you
yeah, one side of our board is real bad, and one side is real good.
I was in charge of putting on stickers in the beginning.
I took that over. My biggest thing with the game is, especially in the beginning when you're just constantly unlocking stuff, the games are very long because you're stopping and like half the game is just unlocking things, and that's the same thing as Clank Legacy 1. But that's the part of the game I really like, so it doesn't bother me too much. I don't know. I think I liked this just as much as Clank Legacy 1. It was cool having individual books for players.
Mm-hmm. You had like your own storyline. Clank 1 did not. Legacy 1 did not have a storyline.
Yeah, and like I feel like it branched quite a bit. And I feel like there was quite a bit of stuff that we didn't see because of choices we made or things we did. I don't know. If you like Clank or Clank Legacy, you like Legacy games, I don't think you go wrong with this one. And
I don't know if it's I think what's interesting, I don't know if it's a pro or con, but most of our plays were probably 2 to 2.5 hours with setup and teardown and after.
If you count all that stuff, yeah.
And so if you want to crank out a game of Clank, I mean, you can do that much shorter.
Sure.
So I think the legacy games take longer, but I don't know if it's more game. It's not more gameplay. It's just discovering those things like you talked about. So if you don't care about that, then you might get bored and rather just play regular Clank if all you want to do is the mechanisms of Clank.
Well, plus there's, I don't know, what was I going to say?
I thought it was really cool how, I don't think they had this in the first one. Different cards upgraded through the game or got worse, the scratch offs. And so in Clank Legacy 1, I think there might have been some ways to modify the cards. I can't remember, but they really leaned into that in Clank Legacy 2. Your starting deck had things you scratched off, monsters changed, different items could change. And so it was kind of neat to see different items get pretty beefy and then they come up in another game and you're like, ooh, I want that.
Yeah, the scratching off was cool, and everybody's deck was different at the beginning. So, that was cool.
It's kind of
well.
built in special player powers because your decks would grow different.
Yeah, and everyone could get different achievements, and it would refer back to that at the end. You got to put stickers on the back of your book and be like, whoever did this thing can get this thing now. And everyone would check the back of their book and be like, oh, yeah,
and
I did
those
that.
were part of the story. Like I murdered this guy or I protected this guy. And so that kind of later when they would refer to it, that was fun to be like, oh, I'm the guy that killed the giant.
Was there co-op stuff in Legacy 1?
There was no co-op in Legacy 1.
Yeah, and in this one, probably 40 to 50% of the games are co-op games. And the whole boss mechanism that they do is new, and I thought that was interesting. Ultimately, and I think the boards kind of agree, there was one of the decks that seems to be a little more powerful than others.
Joe's deck.
And mine was not very good at fighting early stuff. I don't think I had nearly as much fun with I don't feel like I got to help nearly as much on the do as much stuff in the cooperative games.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much I dug it. I thought it was interesting if you like co-op, it's a good experience. It's cool because you're always fighting against that Hex Corp that's out there on the board.
The co-op games gave me a chill, a cozy game vibe. I wasn't as invested in them. I just kind of went around and did stuff. I didn't feel like that tension or pressure of, I got to get that big artifact. And so personally, I didn't like the co-op games as much. I liked the competitive games more.
They did tend to go faster though.
They did go faster.
Yeah.
Looks like we started playing on March 4th and we finished on December 2nd.
So 9 months.
So
we did it.
Not too bad. I was going to talk about a game I played at BGG-Con. It was actually expansion. Have you guys played the SETI expansion stuff yet?
No.
Tim, you want to buy mine? I got one. If
Yes,
you want.
I do.
Just kidding. I'm keeping this one.
You got to sell it with the promos.
I'm keeping this one.
I guess for everybody that hasn't heard, Jeremy bought SETI at BGG-Con last year.
Yep.
And then sold it to me. I think because you thought you didn't like it as much.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to own it yet.
Right.
And I figured if I did, I'd be able to find a copy.
Yep. And then you rebought it.
And then I rebought it a month later.
Yep.
After I played it again.
And it has been.
Now it's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, a joke around the group. So
I think I bought 4 expansions. I think I waited in line twice and bought 4 expansions for different people.
You did not get me one though.
I didn't get you one. No.
That's all right. How is the expansion?
Expansion, I definitely want to play it again before it's passing final judgment. So what it adds is almost like a quick start, kind of like Terraforming Mars Prelude.
Yep.
So you get these cards that start you with more resources or more income. Mine started me with Probe, all the way out on Neptune.
Okay.
It can start you with some marks, I think, on some different stars. So it kind of gets that first round where you feels like you're not really doing much. It kind of does that automatically without playing.
But it doesn't shorten the game.
Well, we'll get to that. Then the second thing it gives you is a special power. So you're each a different corporation and you're better at something. And so one guy's corporation that played, he could run his computer for free. No energy to run his computer. He ran his computer 20 times probably in that game. So each corporation gets a special power. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if they're balanced. His seemed really awesome. Mine seemed like it made me do things I didn't want to do just to use it. And I don't know how much it helped me, but it was still fun.
How many of them are there?
I don't know.
Is it more than 4?
More than 4. There's like a deck.
Okay.
So I haven't looked at all of them yet. I think the part that was the most surprising to me is we all thought that it would make the game shorter.
Yeah.
It felt like it was the same length. And
with one less round.
With one less round. You play with one less round. It was the same length, but I did more actions and I felt more juiced up. And so...
Makes sense.
I was talking with Ben, who played it with me at BGG-Con, and he said he kind of lost the tension of I don't have enough resources to do what I want. And it felt like you could just do everything. Like you could just do tons of stuff. And so what I'm curious is if you like SETI because it feels like you can't do all the things you want to do, you might not like this. If you would rather play SETI and feel like you're powerful and you can do all kinds of stuff, then maybe you would like it. I think that's an interesting...
Do you have to play with the prelude and the player powers to play with the other aliens?
I don't think so. Okay. It also comes with 3 new aliens, and we played with 2 of the new aliens. We just forced our seed to have 2 new aliens.
There's 11 asymmetrical organizations.
Okay.
So that's a nice spread.
The new aliens were definitely wildly different with different mini games. So I think that was pro no matter which way you look at it. I think they're also like in the FAQ, it said, can I play the same number of rounds? And it said no, because then the game will take way too long and be way too juiced if you're using the special start stuff. I can't remember if you can use special powers or the quick start, like if you can use both or one.
Here says no matter what, you shuffle in the 42 new cards and you mix the 3 aliens in, and some new effects on signal tokens, it says. It says those are things you always do. But then it looks like you can play with organizations.
Can you play with orgs and not quick start, or quick start and not orgs? I'm assuming you could. It also has...
I think it's both.
It's both, not one or the
other.
I
think I looked at BGG, I think they said you could, but I think they said it was meant to do both. When you look at the rule book, it says playing with organizations, and then as part of that, it talks about quick start cards. So.
I think it's possible if you're playing with somebody new and you juice up the game so they can do a lot more, it might even make it slower than regular.
Yeah.
And we were all experienced. We all had played SETI multiple times, so we knew what we wanted to do. If you didn't know what you wanted to do, but you had a lot more resources, that could stretch it.
Yeah, I would say one of the major complaints when we did the podcast was how long the game is, right?
I don't think it changed that.
Yeah, okay. Which makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Like, reminds me of Twilight Imperium, right? They released an expansion, it basically cut the game by 1 round, and the game ended up being about the same amount of time, right? So it's the same thing, right? You just have more stuff, you can do more things, because it's not a finite number of turns, right? There's as many as you can do, right? So that makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
I wish it would have been shorter.
I liked it. I think I haven't gotten my final thoughts on if I prefer it one way or the other. The new aliens, though, are definitely cool. The 2 we played with, it was pretty neat, the different mini game they had. One thing I did like, since you're more juiced, I always feel like in regular SETI, I don't get to interact with the aliens as much as I would like. We almost maxed out our alien boards. And so it lets you mess with the aliens more, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. Okay. So would you recommend it? One play, right?
One play.
Okay.
I would recommend it, and I feel like I do like it.
Yeah, I really like SETI, so I just...
Now, is it a must-have? I don't know if it's a must-have.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps me from playing SETI more often is how long it is, right? It's hard to get a 3-hour Euro to the table.
And I have enough fun in it that the time doesn't bother me, because it feels like there's enough variation in play and what I want to do that I feel engaged the whole time. Kind of like Return to Dark Tower, it can run a little long, but it never feels long to me because I'm having so much fun while I play.
Yeah, I mean, and with games like that, sometimes if you're a player that maybe hasn't gotten over the hump or whatever, like you take 3 actions in a round and someone else takes 8.
Yeah.
It can certainly feel pretty long. So
yeah,
but I'm always down for more aliens. I like that sounds great. So even if you got it just to get the new aliens and maybe play with the prelude stuff every once in a while, I think that'd be fine. So I'd like to play it.
Yeah, we'll have to get it out.
I think SETI's that long. Like, if we played right now, you think it'd take longer than 2 hours?
Yes.
I think it would take
It's been a while
At
since I've
least.
played.
I don't think it would be. There's no way it would be less than 2 hours.
I don't think it's longer than like Underwater Cities.
Yes. Yeah.
And
My plays were consistently close to 2.5, 3 hours for sure.
with 4 players.
Yeah, with 4 players.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you can get down to 2.5. But again, like Jeremy was saying, if someone pops off and gets a bunch of stuff, like it can just.
It's true. I did
Yeah.
play one time where I felt like we played about as fast as we could, and it was still long.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like the scanning action can slow the game out a bit because there's a bit of upkeep with it. You got to put your discs out and pull them back. I don't know. Landing on a planet's like super quick, but what card am I going to discard and where and what sectors am I going to mark? If you get the ability, Ben had his scanning fully juiced, so he could discard a card from his hand, discard a card from the row, scan from Mercury. So he was making a lot of decisions every time he scanned. And it would be like, I'm just going to go here and land my probe on Neptune.
Right. Rob, you got another game you want to talk about? Have we talked about Origin Story?
Oh, I played that at BGG-Con. That was fun.
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come in. So I got to play Origin Story for a second time. I think you guys talked about it, or you guys talked about it on the Discord, that having a game played of it. So I played it. I played it at 4 and 5 players. This is from Stonemeyer Games. It's Jamie Stegmeyer. It was the demo game of the week at Dungeons Gate a couple weeks ago. But it is a trick-taking game where you are a superhero, and every round you get to choose, I guess, part of your player powers. So I think it's 5 different powers. At the beginning of the game, you get one, you're like your super ultimate power, or you get 2 of them. You get to pick one and that's the 5th round power, and then everyone in between you get a different power. So as every other trick-taking game, there's like 4 different suits. You get dealt your hand of cards. You do not deal all of the cards. So there are cards that are, randomly sitting there not played. And then you kind of just go through and you play every round, and everybody pops off their powers, and you kind of got to keep track of all that stuff. I am interested to hear what you guys thought of this game.
I thought it was fine.
What player count did you play at?
3.
Okay.
I think probably more would have been insane.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty decent at 3, but I could see trying to keep track of everything that's going on at a higher player count being more difficult.
Who has what powers and what they could do at any time? Is that what you're kind of thinking?
I think, like, overall, there's way more trick takers that I like more than.
Do you like Rebel Princess
Origin.
better? It gives me Rebel Princess vibes.
Yeah, I think
Rebel
I
Princess
do.
Infinitely better.
I think
Do you?
there's
Okay.
also a huge push right now in the industry in general for cheaper, lower cost games. And so I think everyone and their brother is coming out with a card game.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a big inundation of the market right now. It's just different card games. And like, I like trick taking games, but I only need so many of them unless they're going to do like something wildly different.
I would say this is not different enough in its core trick-taking mechanism. Like, it's straight up trick-taking and incredibly complex in the following along with the powers and kind of understanding. For me, a big part of trick-taking game is, being able to count the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding what cards are out there and what aren't. You can't do that in this one because there's 3, 4, 5 players. You play with the same deck with 1 through 13. So there's a discard sitting there somewhere where, like, not every card in every hand is going to come out, right? So you can't count those cards anyway. And then, like, just remembering and understanding what other people's powers are on top of what your own, like, you just never know how a hand's going to kind of turn out. And it does not scratch the same itch for me.
So it feels less strategic, maybe?
Yeah.
It feels kind of random
It
chaos.
feels totally random chaos, and it's just
even
like
more so than Rebel Princess, I'd say.
way more. Because Rebel Princess, you
can kind of figure out whose powers and
every card's going to come out. You know what the round is, and everybody's got one
out
power,
there
right?
somewhere,
Yeah.
the frog guy.
Yep. So I was not a fan.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It feels like in Rebel Princess, you can control your destiny or manipulate things more. This just seemed like wild chaos, trick taking.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I just wanted.
I thought it was unique to build your own tableau of special powers. Rebel Princess, I feel sometimes I get a special power that I don't really understand how to use the best, or it doesn't seem very cool. And that was minimized by giving me a tableau of ones I'm building up. And so it felt like I always had something cool I could do. Sometimes in Rebel Princess, it feels like my special power is pointless.
Sure.
But I think that's probably just not understanding the strategy of how to use them all to the best.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty good in Rebel Princess. So yeah.
And there's plenty of times where I'm playing that game where I forget to even use my power.
Yeah. Well, and they're not like
or like the instance to use it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Whereas in Origin Story, you're building out, you're kidding yourself out, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, so I've played it.
I don't know.
I played it twice. Both times I did not get a power that let me score points in the middle of the round, and I got hammered both times. So like, you know, because you only get you draw 2, discard 1, and there's a whole deck of, you know, call it 100 powers or whatever it is, and just it felt really random keeping track of what the other people had, and I just didn't.
I definitely don't think I'd want to play with more than 4.
Yeah, and with Rebel Princess, like we played it. What was it, at 6 at BGG Con?
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was a hoot. We had a great time.
Yeah, for sure. That it.
That's all I had.
All right. Well, tonight on the podcast, we played Ayar, Children of the Sun. In this, you're advancing your clan and seeking the favor of the gods at the dawn of the Inca civilization. It's currently ranked 5,109th overall. It is rated 8.1 on Board Game Geek. 1 to 4 players, best at 3. We did that tonight. 60 to 90 minutes, ages 14 plus. The weight is 3.13 out of 5. The designer is Mandela Fernandez Grandon and Fabio Lopiano. The artist is Ian O'Toole, and the publisher is Osprey Games. Tim, you want to tell us what we're doing in Ayar?
Yeah, so in Ayar, you are basically, there is call it a god and a goddess. You are trying to meet your goddess in Tuatansuyu, I believe is where it's at. So in order to do that, you are walking 4 of the gods down their 4 colored tracks that wind across the board that have the actions on it. And every round you are taking one of those gods that's in the last place, and then they're meeting up with their goddess, right? So in order to move those gods, you have to place one of their markers on your board in a certain area that is essentially a grid, right? So you place it on the side of the grid, and it has walk the god 1 or 2 spaces. And then once you walk the god, you then take a tambo or a little house out of your grid and place it on the board somewhere behind the god. And on the board behind the god, there is the 4 actions. So when you place it on one of the actions, then you do that action at the power of the row or column in which you placed your little marker on. And you do one of the 4 actions, which is move your boat, build a rug, you can collect pots, and then you can put corn out into the field. So in doing those actions, you basically uncover these sun icons and moon icons, and both of those 2 different things will score at 2 different times as you kind of walk gods through. So the sun actions, as you kind of walk your gods down the lanes, they score when they cross a scoring tile. And then the moon ones, you score by putting temples on the board. And then at the end of every round, when one of the gods goes and meets the goddess, they will then come off of your board and move into a moon scoring. So how the game kind of runs is you have 5 actions, 4 actions, 3 actions, and 2 actions as you run through the game. And then once you finish those 2 actions, the last god will essentially make it to the end of the path, and you'll do your final scoring. You want to have your sun and your moon as close as you can, and the one that's the least far, so the one that's the farthest back, is your score for the end of the game.
Excellent. Let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Ayar, Children of the Sun. All right, we are back. Ayar, Children of the Sun. Initial thoughts time. I'll start. I saw the box and I was like, hey, this game looks like 2 other games by the same designer. Because this is the 3rd game in kind of a trilogy of games that aren't really the same, but same artist, same designer, same kind of design feel, I guess, like graphic design anyway. Which is Merv, which is actually like a 5-year-old game at this point. Sankore, The Pride of Muntsa Mansa, which came out last year. And now I've got Ayar, We have talked about Merv in the podcast previously, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Sankore, maybe we've talked about.
I think we talked about it. We've not done an episode on either of them.
We've not done an episode on either of them.
I think we're the only two people that have really ever played Sankore of our whole entire group.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, well,
How many times does that happen?
Rob and I played it once at 2-player, and we played it once at 3-player, and the third person doesn't come to game night very often, so I don't know.
I've seen that. I saw them like one time ever, I think. So,
and I think you're the only person I know that owns it.
Yeah, it's kind of fell under the radar, I think. So yeah, I really like the designer, and I was like, well, I got to get the third game in the trilogy, so here we go. I had no idea kind of what it was about. The box is actually a lot smaller than you'd think. Like, they pack a lot of game in these boxes. Like, Merv isn't very big. Sankore isn't very big, I don't think.
Yeah, Sankore is about a normal size, maybe a little bit, but like Merv and Ayar are definitely skinnier.
Yeah, and I'd say when you're talking about these, like, Merv is probably the lightest, or maybe it's on par with IR-ish, and then Sankore is like a full point above both of those things in the difficulty scale. I don't know, Jeremy, what did you think? We played this at BGG-Con for the first time.
Yeah, and I didn't have any knowledge of those other games, so I had no kind of prior conceived thoughts. I thought, how do you pronounce this again? And then when we unfolded the board, the colors and the art kind of struck me as unique or interesting. It doesn't seem, I don't know, I don't see a lot of games that have this much color, but it's kind of like a muted, but still bright. It's kind of interesting. And then I saw these long tracks and I was like, what are these weird scoring tracks? I don't understand these. And I didn't know at the time that's the action selection. And so I thought, wow, this looks like nothing I've really seen, where the whole board is just these winding tracks.
Yeah, so my first thoughts, I think same kind of as Rob. I really like Merv. I really like Sankore. So excited that Rob was able to pick this one up and get it to the table. It looks wonderful. It does definitely have the same like vibes as the other ones, but it all three of them, I'm kind of jump into maybe the review here. All three of them are completely different games. Like, they all work differently. They score differently. They're like, there is nothing that's very similar besides that the art and the box kind of look the same. So I was super excited to play this game.
Yeah, except for like IR and Sankore both have like a action power mechanism kind of, but they're not the same action power thing.
Is graphic design or iconography similar or is different?
No, it's all relatively different. Just like the aesthetic of the game, the color schemes and that kind of stuff is generally the same, but yeah, there's no shared symbology or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, the main link between all these things is the artist, the designer, and the publisher.
Yeah.
And kind of they kind of all have the same general color scheme, kind of. So they definitely were going for something here, I think, to kind of put these in a similar category.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, 3 eras of time in 3 different places, I guess. But yeah. So, you want to kick off pros? I mean,
the biggest pro for me is it makes me want to play Tawa Tetsuyu again.
Oh, yeah,
it reminds me that I have that game.
Yeah,
that's also an Inca game. That's from Board and Dice, but I really like tracks in games, and the tracks are the actions. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but it's just what you do on your turn is pretty simple. You're picking a thing, putting it down, you're moving a guy on the board, and you're picking one of the actions behind him, and it's one of 4 different mini games. And then you're doing that thing. So what you're doing is fairly simple, but what you have to take into consideration is a lot. And we'll kind of dip into that, but I like interaction in my Euro games generally. Like, and this one has pretty high interaction as far as you have to be paying attention to what other people are doing. You have to be paying attention to which guy is farthest behind because that one's going to retire and not be going any farther. And then that will change what is going to score on the board ultimately, because the farther they go, the more sun activation scorings they're going to do for certain actions. And like the purple one might activate 4 different ones or activate the same one twice, or, it all varies. So when one dies, that guy's going to not activate. He might not have activated anything. He may have gotten to 1 thing or 0 things. And so then that means 1 tile on that board is only going to score maybe 1 time instead of twice, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and all 4 actions have 2 tiles apiece, one in shorter run and one in the longer run. But it's not like, I think they all hit it maybe 8, but after that they kind of wind around, and I think each one can score like 4 different tiles if I remember looking at the board. So yeah, that was, I don't know, that's pretty cool. I think my biggest pro for this game is I don't even know what to call it, your action selection system on your board, where you place one of the colored, gods like onto your board, and then that's how you move them. You move 1 or 2 spaces to make 3 in a 2-player game.
Where you place that means more than one thing,
right? And then you take a house from there, which then lets you get the power, and on top of that, there's all kinds of little bonuses on the board. And I think moving a god into the right space, setting yourself up for a 2, 3, 4 power action at the right time is awesome. And then on top of that, you then have to manage, okay, well, I am putting my purple guy here and he's moving 2 spaces. Does it actually even have the action that I want? Or is he moving into like a sun scoring for everybody? Like, I just think that whole thought process there is quite cool.
For sure.
It scratches all the right itches for me.
Yeah, I like the action selection. If it feels like there's enough flexibility that if you really want to do a certain action, you can find somewhere to do it. The trade-off, it might not be the most optimal place to pull off of your action board or which guy you want to move forward. So I think that's an interesting puzzle. I think that's kind of what you're getting at is, how bad do I want to do the corn action and try to beat Rob on corn versus how bad do I want to move the purple guy? I think another thing that puts a neat twist on that is you all have one god of each color, but then you have a wild god. And it seems like usually most people save the wild god to last if they can. So then when you're looking around trying to game out which god might be the farthest back, you're looking at, this is where the interaction is cool. You're looking at what gods other people haven't placed yet because you're trying to figure out which ones are going to move still. And that wild god gives you a nice wild card on which one you might bump forward. And it could really twist. Like, everybody might think the purple guy is going to be last, but then 2 people use their wild one to move the purple guy, and all of a sudden he's not last anymore. And that can change everything on what tracks are going to stay alive in the game.
Yeah, and it's really important on who dies. Because when they move on, they score these temples that you can put on the board. They kind of walk across, which gives you a moon score. And then B, it eliminates them from walking down the rest of the track to score all these other sun tiles. And we didn't really talk about it a lot, but you do have 2 kinds of points in this game. You have sun points and moon points that score a little bit differently. So you're trying to combine both of them to be almost the same, right? So
yeah, and you have a limited number of times each of them can score. So the sun points only score as those IR walk along and score those tiles. And then they score when you complete rows or columns on your board, which you won't complete one of them. So depending on how you do your board, you may or may not get to do each of those from your board. But then every time one retires, you get to score one of your moon points for each of them. And then you're going to score 3 of the 4 moon points again over on the other thing. So deciding in this game, this is not a game where you really want to do everything, because, I mean, you definitely can do one thing all the way, I think, and you can do a second thing pretty close to maybe all the way, and then you could do some of a third thing, and then maybe you dip in to that 4th thing, so you get like a sun point, so you get a llama for the end of the game, which could be a big thing, actually. I hadn't really thought about that before, but making sure you at least get a llama every time something scores is kind of a big deal, because at the end of the game, you get to spend those llamas as moon llamas or sun llamas, and they have a scoring, each of them, and you can basically gamify your score and like min-max it to the exact point value you want, right? Because you can be like, okay, I got 12 camels. If I make 8 of them day side and 4 of them night side, that makes my back marker move the farthest. And so at least being able to score some sun points on the board every time you get to one of those tiles lets you, at least the first time, you only really need like 1, right? And then the second time you need like 3. And getting 1 is not like a super hard thing. And 1 llama could be like 5 or 6 points. So I hadn't really thought about that before, but touching everything may be an important thing, but not a necessary thing. But ultimately, This is a game where you got to hammer down on what you want to do exactly. And you got to compare that to what other people are doing too.
And which tracks are going to score and which god might retire first.
It has like a really, really good mix of tactical versus long-term strategy.
Yeah. At the end of the game, your actions are big enough that you can pivot a little bit too into, hitting out a couple suns or like getting a decent scoring into one that maybe you weren't in as big, right? So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I think every mini game is fun. Like the boats, it's fun to boat around. And like I didn't do corn at all the first game and I won. And I almost maxed corn out tonight and I won. But both games I did boats. So
I think
there is that. I think boats are maybe an easy thing to do. You're easier, but the thing is,
they're all easy.
We only I think the rugs is the hardest one, maybe. To get the right rugs to match the things you want. But maybe not. I have not focused on rugs ever. Last time I did everything a little bit. Today I just never touched the rugs at all.
Yeah, I mean, at least how I am viewing this game, it is way more important to do the right things at the right time than it is to.
That's true.
Like you still need to finish out a couple things, right? You need to get the end of a track or whatever it is, but like eking out a couple extra suns, and we didn't really talk about this, but how the suns actually score is when you get sun points, you put them on your little dial, and at the end of each round, whatever's on your dial, you score, right? So it kind of accumulates through the whole game too.
I mean, if you can sneak in a sun or two early, that's going to equate to 10 points.
Right. So like it has a really cool timing mechanism where you want to push a scoring sometimes because it benefits you more than other people and that kind of thing. It feels like doing the right action at the right time can benefit you a whole lot.
In this game, I pushed sun and my moon was dragging behind, and then I caught the moon up at the end. And in the first game, it was the opposite. So you can also do that both ways as well. I don't know. Everything about this game is neat, I think.
Yeah, and I really like the mini games are not terribly complex.
No.
The teach is very easy. The rule book is very good for this game as well.
The depth of decisions is much larger than I was expecting from looking at the board and looking at like, oh, you just walk a guy and do an action with 4 small mini games. Like but it's way, way deeper than that.
The little masks and getting your technologies is cool too. You can kind of specialize in what you want to do. I especially like that each action has a way to like permanently make that action better for you, which I think is cool. I like how they all have a little, like the boat one, if you let someone else go ahead, then it's easier for you to move around and like pop them out. So there's a little second mover advantage, but you get an advantage for going out first too, right? And then the pots might be the hardest one just because of the randomness that the colors are coming out.
Frustrates me on the pots.
But I think the other thing is if too many players are doing the same action, then it runs out of the action you want to do, and then you got to do something else. Being able to plan ahead and to get the action you want. In our 4-player game, towards the end of the game, I forget which action it was, but it was like, it took me like 6 turns before I could do the thing I wanted to do because everyone kept taking it and we had done it so much. And I'm wondering if that is why they say 3 is better, because ultimately nothing changes between 2, 3, and 4 players in this game, besides the fact that I think more spots are open, although you're pushing fewer total guys, so you're opening up less total spots. So maybe that's not entirely true.
You're walking the dudes more though.
I think you're walking them about the same, because we also had more double arrows in this than we did before.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean,
our 4-player game. Actually, in our 4-player game, we bumped the last guy at the end quite a bit, and today he barely made it to the end.
Yeah, so
we ultimately, I think, moved less stuff this game.
So say it's generally about the same.
So maybe it's similar. Maybe I'm just wrong on that,
but there would be way more places to put your houses behind them.
Sure, because ultimately they've all gone farther, right? So
people are placing less houses in a 2-player game than a 4-player game. So you would have more choice of your actions. Yeah, which is maybe
probably, but maybe not, because that's not true. I feel like today we moved less spaces total.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
But I think that's variable as well. It depends on how many double versus single moves you're doing based on what house you want to pick up.
I definitely noticed that some of the gods didn't move as far in this game when they started to get to the scoring, like close to the scoring. We would start moving them one space instead of two to maybe eke out another turn.
Well, yeah, you might
scored.
not want to have scored the thing, or you're trying to game it and maybe you don't want them to score it at all and you wanted them to keel off or something.
Mm-hmm. Other pros.
I thought this was interesting. Going last feels somewhat powerful. In a lot of Euro games, going last, a lot of games there's like an action to jump to first, and going last is maybe a disadvantage. But in here, going last, especially if you saved your wild god, you might be deciding which one dies, which actually can give you quite a bit of power on what tracks are going to stay alive, what might score again. I thought that was an interesting twist with the design that comes about, is going last can be fun. And they're even, I don't know if I would call it negotiation, but there were times in our game where Tim was trying to convince me which guy to move last because it would hurt Rob or it would help Rob. And you don't get that in most Euro games, where you're kind of like having some table talk about like what you should do to kind of game it to help.
Well, like that one time we had like the last two turns and I'm like, do you want to try to save purple?
Right.
You know,
I think that's an interesting twist that you don't get in most Euro games.
I agree, 100%.
And you may not like that, I guess, too.
I know.
I do.
In a prior play, I know
someone that wouldn't.
Yeah.
He normally sits in that chair over there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I felt like in our last play, Ben might not have loved that randomness or that kind of manipulation that can happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's what makes the game interesting.
That's what I think.
Like, if you knew exactly what was going to score every time, I just don't know that, like, it would be fun.
Yeah, I think so. And, like, that gets into one of my cons. I don't know how different this game can possibly be. I mean, you can, like, today I was like, I didn't touch corn last time. I'm going to do corn this time. And I did a lot of it. But, like, you can only do so many combinations of, like, I'm going to do this instead of that. And then, but sometimes you got to pivot and do what you want to do. I don't know. It's a fun enough puzzle. I just don't know how different it would be if you played it a ton.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know that it's like solvable or anything, or there's like any one best way to do it, but I don't know how high the replayability is.
I don't know that doing the different mini games feels that different. So last time I did pots mainly, and then I did boats. This time I did corn and I did textile or rugs, but the game didn't feel any different.
Right.
Because the puzzle isn't in the mini game. The puzzle is the timing of when things score. And so maybe that's kind of what you're getting at, Rob, is while you maybe focus on different aspects of the game, it doesn't make the game feel different. Whereas in a lot of other Euros, if I go with one strategy versus another, my whole game feels completely different.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you know, that's a good point. I do think you might struggle with some, this is my first play of it, you might struggle with some variability or like feeling a little bit different, but I don't know. For me, it was pretty fun. I would say this is a MSRP $95 game, so it'd probably be $65 at most places, but that seems pretty steep for, you know.
I guess I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess Sankori was that high too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems fairly high for this game.
On the other side of that coin is that this game is probably pretty easy to get to the table with people that don't play a lot of board games. Like Sankori would be almost impossible to teach to someone that didn't really understand how to, well, it wouldn't be impossible. It would just be very hard for them to do well. I think Merv was kind of the same way because it scores so weirdly.
Yeah.
This one scores weirdly, but like, it's not hard to teach.
Yeah, I mean, you get to start doing stuff.
Right.
And be like, okay, well, here's what you do with it. You
Right.
know, like, would it equate into a good score? Probably not, potentially, but you could at least get into it. And like, I think you could pick the game up fairly quickly.
Yeah, I agree with
That reminds me of Incan River of Gold a little bit. That idea that it's pretty, it's not that hard to learn, it's pretty easy to get playing, but multiple plays, they don't feel a ton different.
Right.
So maybe it's a similar vibe there.
Yeah, which is not bad in a world where it feels like board games are meant to be played like 4 times, you know? Like,
Right.
so I got a couple other cons. I would say if you are a person that could AP, and this game definitely made me, I don't AP very much, but like you can definitely get lost in the sauce of like where to put your god to move the number of spaces you need to get the right action at the right power to get your sun points up to score the thing. Like I definitely got lost in trying to manipulate where I put my basically my worker in my tableau to get the right action at the right time. And I would say if you're someone that like struggles with that, this might be a little bit hard to get through in a game. So
yeah, I mean, on the upside, I think that's the interesting part of the game.
100%. But like it can definitely get you to the point where it's like there's 5 or 6 or 7 things you have to think about when you're placing down your worker. So
trying to think, what was the game length on this? What was our play? It didn't feel long.
Yeah, maybe 90 minutes, 2 hours. It says.
Yeah, what does it say?
It's an hour. It was an hour 40, but was that? Did I teach it?
You taught it too, yeah.
So that was me starting the timer and then teaching it and then playing it in an hour 40.
Yeah.
So maybe that con is if the game slows down to 2 hours or so, is there enough going on that it keeps your interest for that long? Like the value prop of the time versus the fun you're getting? Is that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Or just like you could have a person that played this game that took 75% of the time of the play of the game. Right. The box says 60 to 90 minutes, which I think is probably fairly accurate once you got to know the game a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Other cons.
I guess it's a pretty big like this is a meaty game to get done in like 90 minutes.
I would agree with that.
Feels good.
Yeah, so I think too, it's a lot of fun decisions for the time it takes. Maybe a con. I think you just have to think about it right. It can feel bad when the thing you're trying to score is now gone, or you realize you're not going to hit that again. But I think the game makes it easy enough, like you said, Rob, to pivot to something else that you kind of need to resist the urge to kind of get negative poo-poo pants, my game is screwed, and just pivot. But I think I could see some people maybe getting really frustrated if it feels like the thing they were working towards is now kind of dead.
I only played once, but I don't know how you would go through a game of this and not have that happen to you. At least once, right? Where it's just like, the thing that you wanted just didn't happen. The god moved on with his life. And
maybe that's something in the teach you say, there's going to
it's going
things
to happen.
Will stop scoring and you just need to move to something else.
Yeah.
And
that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think all 3 of us felt that same way where one of these things, because I think we did a pretty good job of like 2 of us were doing certain things and not all 3 of us. So like every time something, one of the gods didn't make it and, went to pasture, like one of us was hurting from that and the other 2 were fine with it. Right. So
yeah, I would agree.
Other cons. That's a good con, Jeremy.
I think it might frustrate people, the temple track. So before the gods walk, when you unlock a quadrant on your action board, you get to put a temple out, and that temple is going to score moon points when that god retires and it walks across. And I think it seems hard to game where you want to put it and which guy, and you don't want to put it out there first. I don't know if that part just feels weird to me. Like,
I don't think you want to rush to put those out at all.
But then it feels like all of a sudden there's nowhere to put them. Like, it's just a weird.
You can always put you can always put 3 of them out. It's just you might not get bonus points for them.
I don't know that the bonus 6 points is worth
the gamble.
I don't think so. I mean, it's risk versus reward, right? It's how much risk do you want to put in putting something like that out? Like tonight, I didn't put anything out early at all.
Yeah.
I dumped them all out at the very end.
Now, I think you absolutely have to get 3 of them out.
Tonight, all 3 of mine happened.
You always will get all 3 of them out. Like I scored all 3 of mine.
Your quadrants will come out.
I mean, you could play this game where you put 1 out.
No,
because it's your
action
board.
There's only one. There's only one.
Only one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that all 3 of mine scored on the last guy tonight.
Yeah, okay.
And I got 1 bonus point out of all of it.
And that's what mine did too. All 3 of mine scored on the last guy.
And I got a buttload of points off of it because I maxed out almost 2 of them.
Right.
And you didn't get the bonus points because you weren't there early.
Yeah.
But since it ran late, you got the points because you got to max out those mini games.
Yep. So like maybe if you threw one out that you weren't going to score a lot on like and got an extra 6 points for it or something, but I think the moon points, you want to get the big chunks. And I think waiting till you kind of know you're going to get them is important.
I agree with that. And
maybe my con there is I don't understand how to manipulate that part of the game very well.
I just left mine on my board.
Yeah.
just the way I didn't even purposely do it. I just towards the end I'm like, man, I haven't unlocked like any of these things yet, and it's because how I have been placing my guys and taking them off. I was leaving enough in like the quadrants to not be able to remove them. That's why that's just one more thing to think about as you're taking those palapas off.
Yeah, the when to put the temples down and score moons, and then when to run there's 2 rows and 2 columns to run sun points for your stuff.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know. That's such a cool puzzle.
I'll go back to a pro. We talked about the price and said it might be high. I think the production is good. I like
It's great.
the colors. I like the meeples. The screen printed meeples look great. I really like how the husband and wife are fit together. Like the meeples like fit right together at the end. So I think the aesthetics.
It has a halfway
great.
decent insert in it too.
Yeah, seemed great.
I think, yeah, and this is gonna be one of those things like that's the MSRP, but you're gonna be able to find this game cheaper. I know I didn't pay near that for this.
I think it's $65 game.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
it's $65 game. Yeah. Is it? It's not in the US yet.
Yeah,
it is. Okay.
I got this direct from Osprey. I think they were running some kind of like sale on their website, and I got this like in October before it even came out at Essen. So that's how St. Croix did the same thing. Although they had some kind of mold issue with like a bag in their box, so like it took an extra long time for that to come out. But
I remember that where like a container got contaminated.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. You want to do final thoughts?
Yeah, let's get final thoughts time here on the Board Boys podcast. We have a 3-boing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. You can have 1 4-boing game at a time. You like how I changed that, Tim?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I am not.
You will never give your 4-boing.
I do not care.
Yeah,
you can give 100 4-boing.
No, I get that.
So
I'm just wondering when you're gonna drop it.
I don't know, man. I need something good. I need something good.
Didn't we review TI4 with you, or that was before you?
That was way before me.
Dang,
it was before you, I think.
Is that your 4-boing?
Not probably not. Yeah, I need something better than that.
We should probably does your 4-boing game exist right now?
I don't know.
I mean, what's your favorite game?
TI4 probably.
So that's your 4-boing game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It makes it. It's got its own flaw. It's got its own like unique. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, every game's got a flaw.
Sure, but like that one's way more about the people that we play with and it being super fun than like, you know.
All right. Well, anyway, a 0-boing game of IR is you don't get to score any sun points ever because you picked the wrong guy on the wrong track on the wrong day.
All your gods are walking around in Seattle and the sun doesn't come out.
Yeah, and they never meet their wives and never get to be happy. And then the cow jumps over the moon, and it's all over. The 3-boing game of IR is it's raining corn on everybody, and everybody's just having such a great time. And you get to get your moon and your sun to exactly land on the same exact space ahead of everybody else. And it just feels good.
You got pretty close.
I did.
You were 1 point away.
I was 1 point away the first time, too.
Yeah.
I think I'll go first. Like for me, for some reason, this game clicks in my brain. Like between this and Phoenix New Horizon, like those are 2 games that I played recently that I don't know. I might be
The Matrix and Phoenix New Horizon.
Yeah, I might be one of like the only I don't know. Something about that. I've only played it twice, but I've definitely had good luck both times, and I've had fun both times. I think it's because I love tracks so much, and I just know how to work a track. You know. The 4 mini games are fun. I have very little cons about this. I'm going to say this is a 2.5. I think we tried to play Sankore before this for the podcast just to kind of like remember how to play it. And then we kind of packed it up when Jeremy got here, and it took us quite a bit to jump into it. I think IR is much more accessible. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could jump into Merv right now because it's been such a long time.
I could probably get it out. I think it would take about the same amount of effort as it did with Sankore.
Okay.
So.
But I've played all 3 of them. If I were to rank these, and you've played them previously, I think, man, I don't remember how much I liked Merv. But
Merv's cool.
this is by far my favorite, I think, amongst the three.
Merv, they just like rampage and destroy all your buildings when they come through there.
Yeah.
Those walls.
I think Sankore is like such a neat, slick design too.
I agree.
I'm going to go Ayar, Sankore, Merv in that order. Because if you put those three in front of me, that is the order that I would choose to play them in, I think.
Yeah. I'll go next if you want. Yeah, so I will echo a lot of the same sentiments that Rob said. I do really like, I think this game's great. It scratches all the right itches, and I don't know, it feels really good. I'm going to give it a 2.5 just because I think, Rob kind of said, but like, I do think playing this game a lot would be a little bit tough. I do think in general of all, maybe Merv a little bit, but those three games, I think this one would be the easiest to get to the table. So you might actually play it the most. Like Rob said, we've tried to get Sankore out. It's been less than a year.
Yeah.
Since we played it, right?
Probably like 9 or 10 months though.
Right, correct. And it took us all of 30 to 40 minutes to figure out what was going on, get the game set up. It's setting up the game is a lot, right?
Oh, there is a ton of setup in that game for sure. Whereas this one is fairly quick.
Right.
We didn't really talk about that. Like the setup on this is pretty easy, actually.
Yeah. However, I think I just like putting Sankore out there. Like, I don't know. I really like the game. I think I'm going to put that one first, then this one, then Merv. For me, all of these games are all very, very similar in how I like all three of them a lot, quite a lot.
Merv, according to BGG right now, anyway, Merv is weightier than IR. This is the light. This is the lightest. Merv is like a 3.45. This is a 3.13, and Sankore is like a low 4.
I think the coolest thing about all three of these games is that they are definitely unique. Like they all have unique things and unique ways that they score, and I don't know. It just they're all very unique and different, and I think that's cool with the little trilogy.
All right, interesting. Well, I'm going to go 2.5 as well. I like it better than your average Euro game. I like the player interaction that happens with trying to figure out which guy might be last and maybe negotiating or looking at which guys haven't moved yet. I think that's a lot of fun. I think trying to fit the puzzle of what's going to score when and when do I get this pot? Do I have another turn? Do I got to get the pot now to get the sun because it's going to trigger? I think that's a fun puzzle. I don't know if this is a game I would play as many times as some other games I maybe rate a 2.5. And so I think that's makes me think I want to make it a 2, but when I do play it, I think I have 2.5 boings of fun.
I did just check. My ranking is official according to my BGG rankings for the game. So,
okay. What'd you rank Merv?
Merv, I have it a 7, and I have Sankore at a 7.5, and I have Ayar at a 9.
Okay.
So that's my hierarchy. And 9 might be a little high for IR, but it's got that new shiny feel right now.
Yeah, it's probably like 7.5, 8, 8.5. Something like that.
They're all real close.
Man, Sankore is like the book scoring thing and how they move around. It's just, I really like it. I think it's super cool.
It is cool. You can take 2 actions at a time. Definitely need to play it again.
We need to play it again.
Maybe we can talk about it some more. Because I don't know that we've talked about it on the podcast, really.
Mm-mm. No, just after our little brief play. It's okay. Well, that'll wrap us up for IR. If you want to, we tend to look a year in the past. Rob, do you want to give us a theme song here?
Nope.
So this is where Cam will insert a theme song. A segment we could call Bumper Dump. So we are looking at Explorers of Navoria.
Hey, I still own that game.
Yeah, so I was going to say the actual most important part about this Bumper Dump is that Cam called a year from now that Rob would sell that game. He did not, apparently. So it's gone from a 7.6 to a 7.5. It was 39.37.
Definitely a bump.
It's definitely a bump. It went to 15.64. It's probably going to top out around that area.
Yeah. And I've played it multiple times since then. I really like it. And it's better when you play it correctly too.
Yeah, I'm sure that. I don't remember what we did wrong, but
we made it harder, I think. We did something incorrectly just because we played with the expansion stuff, I think.
Yeah. I think you were the only one that gave it a 2.5. Everybody else gave it a 2. So, I don't know. The game's really pretty. It's cool.
It is.
Yeah. Any other thoughts in your other plays? You talked about it again, I think, on the podcast.
I really like it. I need to play it again.
I'll play it with you.
I did keep it.
I think I remember. The only thing I remember about the rule we played wrong was that I think it affected me the most.
It did.
And I was like complaining about it at the time.
It did.
I think it was something to do with how you go first or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, the
what it was
rule
yet.
book was really bad for that expansion, I think. But I think the way the expansion works makes me want to always play with it.
Okay.
So that's what I remember about it.
Right on. All right. Well, if you want to give us feedback, you can do so at our Board Game Geek Guild. We got a couple today. So Christopher Boat, he really likes the art and the flow of the game, but didn't really feel like he had a ton of control. The drafting and market were both cool ideas. Racing up the tracks left me wanting more. 1.5 points. David Moore, great art and pretty streamlined. Rules, but it doesn't do anything new or revolutionary. Lives in they won't request another play, but willing to play if someone asked zone. 1.5 points.
Okay. Sounds like I just need to ask.
Yeah. I mean,
Jeremy's played this game.
Yeah, I played this with you on a live stream, and Sophia said, you got to buy this game, but I didn't.
Well, you can't have mine.
I think my kid
Well-
wants to buy every game we've ever played. So
Yeah, same with mine.
I think that's just kids.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Beau is fairly discerning. If it's something,
our Echo Plus.
yeah.
That's the
Our
first
Echo-
time I've seen him say he doesn't like a game.
Yeah, he's warming up to more things that don't just have miniatures and fighting in them, but like strategy is not his bag.
Yeah. So it's either 4 boings for Beau or 0 boings.
I think so. He has no middle boing range.
Love it.
Amy liked our Echo Plus.
Who wouldn't? You know, it's about recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
And
she
bringing
actually
honor
brought
to
the
your
most
family.
shame to our family, and she won. So I think she had like negative 20 points or something in shame, but it didn't matter
Doesn't matter.
because she still scored more points.
Love it.
Although I don't know if you ever played that version of it, Jeremy, but
Yeah, I played both versions.
some people don't like that version because the first time you play it, depending like if you're not grokking it or not, you could score like 0 points or negative.
I think I've basically scored 0 both plays.
Okay, well,
And I get accused of setting up the person after me because I'm not counting the cards enough or paying attention.
oh yeah, that was a big theme in the last time we played for sure. With the super secret corporation card stuff. All right, well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 17, Episode 11, IR, Children of the Sun. Go to theboardboys.com, check out all the cool links there. You can go to our Discord and talk to us, join in some BGA games. You can click on that Patreon link, and we do have a new patron that I'd like to thank today. 5-star iTunes reviews, 5-star Spotify reviews would be much appreciated. BJ from Board Game Gummo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward. I'm going to say this one time. He's our new Patreon subscriber. And I'm never going to say his last name again. So it is Mark Delas. Oh God, Mark, I'm sorry. He is a Louisianan, and I met him through BJ, and he plays with us every year at BGG Con, and he's a great guy.
Love it.
But he has a last name, Delas Dernarier. That is not right. But he is the 4th, just like Beau. So
great.
Mark D the 4th.
Mark D the 4th.
Yeah, he could be a Beastie Boy, I think, with a name
That's
like
a great
that.
Beastie Boy name.
Yeah, Mark D.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Thilman. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Jeremy. And Mark, tell me how to say your last name, and maybe I'll say it right next time, and then I'll just go back to saying Mark D the 4th. Anyway, until next time, we hope you like board games.
Boing, boing, boing.
Checkity 1, check 2, check 3, check 4.
Boom, boom, boom.
The
Let's go.
boom.
Let's go sledding after this. Right now.
Man,
That sounds
I'm-
terrible.
I'm too old to sled.
It sounds terrible.
You have to
I
get
remember
up and
my
That
down.
sounds terrible.
as a kid, we went sledding,
Every bump
and
hurts
I
your ass.
remember my mom went over this like tree rut and like flew in the air, and then did something to one of her vertebrae. I don't know if she cracked it.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Sounds terrible.
And then
Old
she was
people shouldn't be
donezo.
sledding.
Nope.
Wait, when do I start my segment?
Michael bopped me like 3 times.
Got bop.
Yeah, he kept being like, play with my goldfish.
Do it.